Welcome to the Roasted Snow Horror Show,
where fear and dread go head to head.
Welcome to the show, where the screams collide, where blood runs cold, and the shadows hide. Each week a fight, two films will clash. Last week's champ, will it burn to ash? The Roasted Snow Horror Show, where fear and gore will always flow. One film wins, one must go. The Roasted Snow Horror Show. Lights go down, the fight begins. Which nightmare takes the final win? You pick your side, we'll break it down. The Roasted Snow, the goriest showdown.
and here are your hosts.
Chris and Ryan!
Welcome, everyone, to the Roasted Snow Horror Show. This is where fear and dread go head to head. I'm your host, Ryan Rosted. Everybody thinks my last name is Roasted. With me is my co-host and good buddy, Chris Snow, the snowman, the sexual tyrannosaurus, the hater of all things Dawson's Creek, the ever-growing list of nicknames. How you doing?
I'm really good, buddy. I am really good. We're going into Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
We're going into one of my favorite parts of the year, which is playoff football time. And can I just say something real quick?
Yeah.
How fun is it to be a Colorado sports fan this year? We've got the Broncos with the #1 AFC seed. We've got the Avalanche, who are making history right now with how good they're doing. We've got the Nuggets, which pray for Jokic, but we've got some time for him to come back. But he is playing lights out this season. I mean, except for the Rockies, who we want to sell and get us a banana ball team. Exactly. It is so much fun being a Colorado sports fan this year.
It's so great. It doesn't come along every year, and that's
No.
it. So every other city sucks to be you.
Yeah. Eat it.
Yeah, and he's a Packer fan, so but he lives in Colorado. He loves Colorado teams too, so we love it.
The blessing. I was thinking about this. Yeah, can I just say something real quick? I was a blessing the other day. I was talking to someone who was like, he's a Detroit Lions fan, so he's never seen his team win like a championship or anything like that. And I was talking to him about it. He was like, "Do you ever count your blessings with sports?" And I'm like, I have the rare luxury, and as do you, like, to have be able to witness the vast majority of your teams win championships, and you get to see them. I've seen the Packers win the Super Bowl twice. I've seen my first favorite basketball team, which was the Lakers. We're talking late 90s, early 2000s Lakers with Kobe in his prime. Kobe, Shaq, Steve Nash. I've got to see them win multiple championships. And then just when I was in college, I did switch and become a diehard Nuggets fan. Not because they were winning at the time, but because, it's fun to be, a Denver Nuggets fan, especially as Kobe retired and I was done. So I got to see the Nuggets win a championship. I've gotten to see the Avalanche win a championship. Like, the only thing I want to see before I die is the New York Mets win a series, and then, man, bury me happy.
Good fucking luck.
I only smoke in certain situations. Post-coital, when I'm with Germans, sometimes those two overlap. Coital, birthdays, to annoy my mom. Pre-coital, on a sailboat, the day the Mets are mathematically eliminated every year.
Yeah, I don't know that it's ever going to happen. But hey, they never said the Cubbies would win a World Series, and look where we are.
That's true. And I'm really bad at going back and counting my blessings because I always want more. I'm like, no. Like, and like you think, obviously being a Bronco fan, it's like they won their last Super Bowl 10 years ago. And I remember when they won that, it's like, this is going to hold me over for a long time. Well, a long time was about a year and a half. It did not last very long. So, yes.
Well, we had such a horrible streak of bad luck with horrible quarterbacks and bad coaching. And although, according to Sergio Dip, Vance Joseph was having the time of his life.
Defensive back in the NFL, and here he is having the time of his life.
I will never forget that.
Sergio Dip, man, what a dude, what a name. But yeah, so it's always good to go back and count your blessings, not just in sports, not just in life, but you can also do that with movies, with horror movies. with remakes.
yeah.
People go back and they redo something in the past. And we had told you guys that we didn't know what we were going to do this week for this episode. And we did our Anaconda. That was a remake, reboot, remake, whatever. And it inspired us. Chris came up with the idea of doing another format. We each have our own list of our top 5 of horror remakes of all time. Not worst 5, top 5. So it was a really hard list for me to put together. I don't know if it was hard for you as well, but damn, man, there are a lot of good ones out there.
There's some damn good ones. I mean, I already know my number 1, so I kind of started with that. I was like, well, it kind of took the pressure off because I was like, well, nothing's going to beat this one for me. I already know what it is. We have talked about 2 of my favorite remakes, so, those ones kind of fell in as well. But the other 2, one I'm really excited to talk about because I think it was done so damn well. I mean, who am I kidding? All these are done well. And then my number 5 spot is going to be really interesting because it's 2 things. It's kind of a remake, but it's more of an adaptation of a book that has simply been filmed and made a ton of times. So really excited to talk about those.
Okay, awesome. I'm excited to hear them. As for my list, again, like you, I was like, oh, I think I know what my number 1 is, and that changed about 12 times for me. But, just going down this, and there's some movies on here that I know you guys might hate because remakes are very polarizing. Even if they are widely loved, you are going to have that strong group of people that hate it. They love the original no matter what. I always try and do my best to separate the original from the remake, but it's impossible to do. You can't do it. You can't go in expecting it to be the exact same. Sometimes you want something new. Sometimes, like the Psycho remake in 1998 with Vince Vaughn as Norman Bates. It was literally a shot-for-shot remake, and it's one of the worst things I've ever seen. I want that 2 hours of my life back. But some of these are like, there's one in here that I was in high school when it came out, and it just the feeling in the theater and just how much fun I had with it, and that's what this show's designed for. It's not necessarily ones that maybe have the best quality, but the reasons why you love these movies is what we'd like to hear on this show and what we do. And if you don't mind, Chris, I want to pop in just real quick before we get started. I know it's little with our little podcast that we're doing, so it's not much, but I did want to give a condolence. We had my good buddy Chaz Stanley, went to high school with him, played hockey with him forever. He passed away unexpectedly just after Christmas. So it's been a really tough week for his family and friends, and he was a big movie guy too, and I miss you, buddy. I love you. The world's a little darker without you. So I hope you're listening up there and laughing your ass off at us, but the best thing about him is you could talk with him about anything. It would be whether it's sports, whether it's movies, comic books, whatever. And he had such a dry sense of humor. He was hilarious. But one thing that I used to do on Facebook is I just would it would be the random Mighty Ducks quote of the day. And I think Chaz was the only one that would comment and react to it. So he was like my one little fan go, yay! And the random Mighty Duck quote of the day. So, for you, Chaz, we're gonna, I'm dedicating this show to you. I'm gonna play right here a random Mighty Duck clip of the night. So hope you enjoy it, Chaz.
God bless, buddy.
We're Team USA, gathered from all across America. And we're gonna stick together. You know why?
Because we are ducks, and ducks fly together.
That's right, Jan. And just when you think they're about to break apart, ducks fly together!
When the wind blows hard and the sky is black,
Ducks fly together!
And when the roosters are crowing and the cows are spinning circles in the pasture,
Okay,
Ducks fly together!
and when everyone says it can't be done, ducks fly together.
That's the one that I picked. All right. So, don't know if we'll make that a weekly thing, but, hug your loved ones. He was 37 like me. So, you never know, but, miss you dearly, Chaz, your friends and family. We love you. So, with that, let's get to something therapeutic, and that is horror movies and remakes and talking about how some people get fucked up. So, but before we get started, do you have any honorable mentions that you'd like to say?
You know, nothing kind of comes to mind right away. And I was really excited about the top 5. You know, now that I think about it, I will say I believe it was 2010 they remade this film, but they did make a Friday the 13th remake. Now, as opposed to the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, which I know you love so much, I thought the Friday the 13th remake was actually pretty good. If you guys have seen the original Friday the 13th, Jason Voorhees actually is not the killer in the first Friday the 13th movie. It's his mother. Jason doesn't appear until Friday the 13th Part 2. So this Friday the 13th remake, Jason Voorhees is the killer. The premise is a bit different. It's similar in that, you know, it's teenagers who are getting together in the wilderness to have premarital sex and do all the things that teenagers do. Study, exactly. I'm glad you said that. They're studying for their exams. But, you know, Jason rises from the dead underneath Crystal Lake and has some fun with a machete. So this again was one of them. It came out around the same time as that terrible Nightmare on Elm Street remake, but I really thought this one was actually pretty good. And there have been a ton of like Friday the 13th sequels and spiritual successors and all those things. Jason X comes to mind, but Friday the 13th remake I thought was pretty cool.
If you want just a dumb slasher that goes into a franchise that you want, Jason X is one of the. It's not a good movie, but it is so damn funny. I love that. It has
Jason X is one that when you're flipping channels and it comes on, it's like, all right.
It's like, yeah, it's Jason Goes to Space. Like, come on, it is great. But there's some really funny kills in there, and there's one that's really gnarly. That's an all timer. But yeah, I'm glad
the liquid nitrogen kill. I'm hoping you're thinking of that one, just like I am.
I saw that one. I think we rented it when I was a kid, and I just that scene scarred me. Like the whole movie is like campy, and then it's just like, oh shit, you know.
It came on the Stars channel all the time, so I would always be like, oh, I caught it. And I'd always catch like the middle or the end of it. Finally, one day I caught it at the beginning, and I was like, I'm just gonna watch this whole thing. And yeah, the liquid nitrogen kill definitely sticks out in my mind.
Yeah, and as for the remake in 2010, I believe it was Michael Bay that did it. I
believe
right?
so.
Yeah.
Platinum Dunes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he, insert what I've done right here.
Hold on. You ready?
Yep.
There, the Twitch. Did you see the Twitch?
Yep. What I love about that remake is some of the lines in it are so dumb, but they I still remember to this day. Like the two are hooking up in the bedroom. Like the jock is just like, your tits are stupendous.
I've got when he wraps both of them up in a sleeping bag and just picks up the entire sleeping bag and just slams it against the tree multiple times.
And then there's the comic relief in that movie. He goes to the shed and he knocks something over and he picks up a hockey stick and he's like, all right, this is a real man's sport. And so there's some really dumb things in there, but
when he's getting chased back from the shed back to the house by Jason, he's like, oh, you motherfucker.
Oh man, yeah. So I'll pop in here too with one of my honorable mentions, and it just missed the list for me. It was back and forth, but it was Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Okay,
that one it's
brutal.
Divisive. Yeah, it's divisive in the sense that because the original Halloween, I mean, I guess it was bloody for its time, but now you look at it, it's relatively tame compared to where you go with it. But this one, what I liked about it. And I wasn't sure how I would like it, but that they actually go into Michael's character as a kid, and that's like the first act of the movie.
It was cool. It was a cool first act. It really set it apart from what the original was.
Yeah, and I just remember the scene before his first kill. He's going after the bully at his school, and he's chasing him. He's stalking him through the woods after school with a big stick, and that's just when the theme song comes in.
For much deeper and bigger problems.
What do you mean problems? What is this?
He's a very disturbed young man. I have to evaluate him, and I'd like to interview him. I need to take him through a series of tests.
Well, you can talk to him, but what is evaluating him? What does that
Obviously, it's a very deranged young mind that can do this to his pets. And we know...
Fuck!
Man, if I get one more fucking detention, I'll be fucking expelled. My old man's gonna beat my ass.
Gotta get that piece of shit on the weekend so we don't get in trouble.
Dude, if I see that Myers pussy, he's fucking dead. You want it? Huh? You want it?
And it's just, you know, it's just perfect. I loved it. And then I hated Halloween 2 for that remake, but Halloween with Rob Zombie, I thought in my view it was fantastic, just not good enough to make this list.
And it's a hard watch. I don't know if you saw the unrated version.
Oh yeah.
There are some scenes in that made me go, ooh.
Well, and if you're a Halloween film, you know, don't ever eat a meal because it's always uncomfortable.
Oh man, I got peanut butter on my peanut.
100%. 100%.
Man. All right, so let's kick this bad boy off. Who is your number 5?
So I've got a special one for number 5, and this one is even if you guys aren't necessarily horror fans, if you love cinema, you're going to love this film. And I'm talking, of course, about 1992's Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman and Keanu Reeves. We're not going to talk about Keanu Reeves' British accent because it's not great. In fact, it's one of the things that kind of takes away from the film because it's so horrible. But this film, when I talk about it being a remake, right, there's been numerous Dracula films. There's been numerous Nosferatu films. The original Count Orlok from the 1920s kind of comes to mind. But this one, excuse me, I'm blanking. Francis Scott Coppola did this film. And Gary Oldman played Count Dracula, and one of the cool things about it is it's of course an adaptation of the book, which I'm a huge fan of. I mean, my love for horror goes beyond movies; it goes into video games and books. But if you guys have read the book, the entire book it's a series of correspondence, it's letters between the characters. And the movie does a little bit in exploring the actual history of Dracula. There is a little bit of truth here because if you guys don't know, the original legend of Dracula came about from an old, I believe he was he Serbian? No, he was Romanian. What am I thinking? He's Romanian. His name was Vlad.
Transylvania, come on.
Transylvania. What am I doing? But Vlad Dracula, Vlad III, I believe, commonly known as Vlad the Impaler, is actually the real-life inspiration for Count Dracula. And this film dives back to 1462 when Vlad was waging war. The initial premise of how he actually became a vampire is that his wife, Elisabetta, she received news of his death in the war. She committed suicide, and when Vlad came back to her death, the clergyman of the Romanian church told him that, well, she's dead and she's damned to hell for committing suicide. And he was enraged. He desecrated the chapel that they were in. He renounces God. He declares that one day he's going to rise from the grave and avenge Elisabetta. And he stabs his sword into the chapel's stone cross, and a bunch of blood pours from it. Like, it's very demonic, right? He drinks that blood, which actually allows him to become a vampire. And the story from there kicks off into the late 1800s, 1897. Where the story of Dracula, the Bram Stoker's Dracula novel, starts and takes place. We have our fantastic Jonathan Harker, played by the very young at this time Keanu Reeves. Jonathan Harker is a solicitor from England who actually visits Count Dracula in Transylvania at his castle to organize his real estate. So Dracula who is buying real estate. He's buying place in London. He wants to move from Transylvania to London. And Harker's he's actually a solicitor. He's not really a real estate agent, but he's helping kind of facilitate that move. And anyway, while he's staying in Dracula's castle, Dracula actually lets he has like countesses, I guess you could say, that live in the castle with him. He allows them to feed on Jonathan while he's there. They're essentially his brides, right? He allows them to feed on Jonathan, which obviously incapacitates him. And Dracula himself travels to London to take possession of his new mansion, I guess you could say, his new place to live. And while he's in London, that's kind of when his reign of terror sort of begins. Now, the beautiful thing about this movie, and the beautiful thing about the book per se too, is that this is not a vampire movie that is just rife with blood and rife with gore, and it's just it's not Blade, right? It's very much, it's a cinematic piece. There's not very much death in this film. I want to say there's only 3, maybe 4 deaths that I could think of, and one of them is obviously the Count. Spoiler alert: Dracula dies. And a friend of Jonathan's dies. One of the 3 men that are helping him get his bride back dies. But to kind of put it in perspective, when Dracula arrives in London, he doesn't actually attack the wife, or I should say the fiance of Jonathan Harker, because he sees a picture of her while Jonathan's at his castle, and he sees her and he's like, "This is Elisabetta." He thinks it's Elisabetta reborn. And that's why he leaves Jonathan in Transylvania, and he goes to London to kind of take back his bride, you should say. He doesn't actually attack her when he's there. He actually attacks her friend Lucy. And this is kind of where things start kicking off, because you guys are used to vampire lore, right? Where one bite, and then you're just infected, right? You kind of become a vampire. And this is a little bit different in that Dracula, he does attack you, and he does the whole, I'm going to drink your blood, and he drinks your blood, but it's not an instantaneous turn. He attacks her one night, and then she takes ill with fever, and she's being attended to by doctors and friends, and then he keeps returning, every so often to continue to feed on her. So it's a prolonged transformation, you could say. So he continues feeding on her. Her deteriorating health prompts some of her former suitors. There's actually 3. One is an American, really cool guy. But they see her taking ill, and they get a doctor. Doctor, you might recognize the name, Dr. Abraham Van Helsing, to take a look at her. And Van Helsing recognizes, played meticulously and fantastically by Anthony Hopkins. If I'm not mistaken, he was nominated for an Oscar for this role. But they find out, he recognizes immediately, this is a vampire that's attacking her. I've heard of these creatures in myth and in lore. And sure enough, she is being attacked by a vampire. She does die. Dracula does kill her. I should also say that, Dracula is 400 years old, but drinking the blood of people allows him to retain his youth. You guys know the vampire myth. Anyway, he does end up killing Lucy. He transforms her into a vampire, and she is buried. And this is when Van Helsing and the 3 suitors, I think their names are Holmwood, Seward, and Morris, he has told them, she's not going to stay dead. So they plan to break into her tomb at night, drive a wooden stake through her heart, and cut off her head, which they do. They do break in, and they do kill her. Now, Dracula, he's kind of realized at this point, because he's approached Mina Harker, who is Jonathan's fiance, new wife. She rejects him. She's like, I'm not Elisabetta, I'm not going back with you, none of that. And he's heartbroken, needless to say. So what he does after that is he determines that he's going to kidnap her. Now, Van Helsing knows, obviously, there's a vampire in London, and the 3 guys that are helping him, they're hunting him, they're trying to find out what we can do to kill him. They're going to burn. He's brought, 3 coffins with him that he has to bring soil from Transylvania with. And that's kind of what sustains him while he's outside of his castle. They're determined to find those coffins, to burn them, and to remove his power so they can kill him. They do split up to kind of get this done, but the problem is Dracula has kind of already sort of started working in with Mina, and she does admit she kind of comes to her, I shouldn't say comes to her senses, but she has Elisabetta's presence kind of come back to her. And she admits that, hey, Dracula, I am your bride. I still love you. I remember my previous life. And so then Dracula kind of starts transforming her into a vampire. He does bite her neck, but like I said, it's not an instant transformation, right? It's kind of an ongoing thing. He bites her neck. He attacks her. So now the guys, Van Helsing, Jonathan Harker, they understand they're on a time limit now. They really have to kill Dracula before he can turn Mina. So as Mina's kind of changing, she's getting these things done. Van Helsing hypnotizes Mina, and he actually learns her connection with Dracula so that he can learn who he is, where he comes from, because they have found his boxes of Transylvanian dirt, right? They found him, they destroyed him. Mina does tell them,
I've got a jar of dirt.
I've got a jar of dirt. I've got a jar of dirt.
Look what I got. I got a jar of dirt. I got a jar of dirt. And guess what's inside it?
Exactly. Wonder where they got that inspiration. But Mina does tell them, like, hey, Dracula's left London. He's actually sailing back to Transylvania, because he's in his last remaining box, I should say. And the plan is obviously for Mina to meet him there. So they depart. They're going to try to intercept him because obviously when he's in his box during the day sleeping, he's incapacitated. That's the best time to kill him. But Dracula evades them. He gets all the way back to his castle. They follow him all the way back to the castle. And this is kind of the climax of the film because as they're approaching the castle, they're running out of daylight. It's becoming night. And at night, Van Helsing and Mina they're approached by Dracula's brides that were feeding on Jonathan at the beginning. Mina, unfortunately, she kind of succumbs. They're doing this incantation, and she kind of succumbs to it. She tries to seduce Van Helsing, but he knows what's going on, and he's kind of an old man. He's past all that stuff. He's like, this isn't going to happen. We need to kill this guy. And before Mina can actually attack him and feed on him, this is actually a really cool part. He takes a communion wafer out and he puts it on her forehead, which, as you guys know, with the vampire myth, anything holy is very deadly to vampires. And that puts a mark on her forehead that kind of slows her transformation. And he surrounds them with a ring of fire to kind of protect them from the brides that are attacking them. And since they're still outside, when the sun rises, it kills all three of the brides. So now Dracula's the only remaining vampire. His carriage arrives at the castle. They're still chasing him. And this is kind of a cool part because there are Romani. I'm not going to say the G word because I don't want to offend anyone. There are Romani that are transporting Dracula back to his castle. And the hunters, Van Helsing, Jonathan, and the three guys that are helping, they get into a fight with the Romani. One of the hunters, sadly, is killed. And just as the sun is going down, this fight is ending, the sun goes down, Dracula bursts from his coffin. This is the climax of the film. Jonathan Harker, he's able to slit his throat with a knife, while one of the other hunters does stab him in the heart with the knife. So he's wounded at this point. One of the hunters, like I said, does die at this point. But Van Helsing and Jonathan, they allow Mina, who's kind of come to her senses. She retreats with Dracula back to the castle. So now it's just the two of them. And back in the chapel that we're back at the beginning of the film, where he renounced God and he became a vampire and he drank the blood. He's lying there dying. His throat's been slit. He's actually been stabbed in the heart, right? Which is fatal to vampires. Him and Mina. This is kind of a sweet scene. Too. Yeah, fatal to us too. How about that? If you get stabbed in the heart, you will die. But this is the climax. It's the end of the movie. Him and Mina. I'm not sure how I felt about this piece because Mina is supposed to be Jonathan's girlfriend, but you get it. She kisses Dracula because she's coming back as Elisabetta. They share a kiss. The chapel kind of lights up. The cross that's been broken for 400 years sort of repairs itself. And Dracula at this time, he kind of reverts to his younger self. And he asks Mina, he's like, please just give me peace. Because you guys can imagine, he's been walking around haunted for 400 years, missing Elisabetta, his love, just living off the blood of people. Like, he's ready to go. So he says, give me peace. And Mina takes the knife that he was stabbed with and she thrusts it through the rest of his heart just to kill him. And as he dies, that mark on her forehead that Van Helsing put when he put that wafer on it, disappears. And she's completely freed from his curse. She then decapitates him. Cuts his head off, and she kind of looks up to a fresco in the chapel, which is really sweet, and it's of Dracula, Vlad, and Elisabetta just ascending to heaven, finally reunited. I don't know that vampires, which are demonic by their very nature, go to heaven when they die, but it's kind of a sweet ending. All this to say, that's kind of a roundabout saying this film's awesome. Like I said, it's a cinematic adventure. It is a horror film, but it's not horror in that it's super scary and it's blood and guts and gore and death. It's not that. It's really a great film. Fantastic performances. Gary Oldman, who kills it in everything that he's in. Anthony Hopkins, of course, is Abraham Van Helsing, who does a fantastic job. You have Winona Ryder does a fantastic. This is Winona Ryder in her early 20s, right? This is 1992. Fantastic turn as Mina Harker. Keanu Reeves does great acting, but like I said, let's just forget about his British accent for a minute. But if you guys want a good laugh, pay attention to his accent. But all that to say, love this one. It's number 5 for me. It's a great film. It's a great remake. If you guys have seen 1992 Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman, congrats. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's a feast. Pun.
Awesome. I see what you did there.
Yeah, I'm clever.
No, the whole time when you were talking Dracula, all I could think about was in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, the Dracula rock opera.
This is a song that I never thought I would write. On the night I'm dying, sorry for all the wrong I've done. I finished trying, it was a wonderful dream. Now let him come and slay me.
There is the demon under the streets of London. I come to slay you.
Here I am, I'll leave you bleeding in my dungeon. I'll never obey. How about your esophagus?
Please, Mr. Van Helsing, listen to me. He's just a man who wishes to be free. Lay him in a hearse, you must end this curse.
He's the worst.
Good catch.
Love that one. Yeah, so
I hadn't even thought of that.
Right. Man, good breakdown there. It's been, God, I think I saw that movie once. It's been forever since I saw it. So you were talking, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that.
This one.
Pretty solid. It's funny that you brought up that one, because my number 5 is actually Hotel Transylvania 2. I'm just kidding.
You do have 2 young daughters, so I won't put it past you.
Dude, no joke. Hotel Transylvania 2 is fucking hysterical. I love that. And Adam Sandler as Dracula, like, what more could you want?
So good. They're so good. All 3 of them are great.
I don't say blah, blah, blah. Anyway, okay, my real number 5. This I'm not going to say this was a cinematic masterpiece or anything like your Dracula, but it does come in at number 5. It is the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Jessica Biel.
Okay, I was going to ask which remake.
Yeah, because there's a couple that are really bad. Yeah, but this one sticks out in my mind. Mainly, I forget what year it came out. I want to say it was probably
2003,
2004, something like that. Yeah. And obviously, everybody remembers, especially if you were my age, in that you remember the shot of Jessica Biel walking up to the house. Like, that's what sticks in your mind. But even the way this movie starts out, it's so brutal. They pick up the hitchhiker who has, just gone through hell. And I remember the camera shot because she unalives herself with the shotgun or maybe it's a pistol, in the back of the van. And I remember
because she takes it out. She pulls it out of her.
Yeah, out of somewhere.
Her skirt. Yeah.
The sun doesn't shine. Yeah. It's like, the prison wallet, I guess.
Ryan.
Hey, sorry. Anyway, she pulls that out and she unalives herself, and the camera actually zooms out through the wound, and then her head kind of goes like that. And I just remember from that, it's like, wow, this is really brutal. And then
pulling no punches.
Right. Then you get Sheriff Hoyt that comes, and the actor that plays him, he's done a lot of drill sergeant crap. Like, he is so funny.
R. Lee Ermey.
Yep. Not in this movie though, but and obviously, I don't need to go into all the Texas Chainsaw stuff because, if you're listening to our show, chances are you kind of know what it is about. Leatherface, this demented family that lives out in the boonies. They have the guy that's in the wheelchair that's part of the family. The kills in this one are very hardcore. They are there's faces getting ripped off. There's limbs being lost every 5 seconds. So but I just remember having such a fun time with this one. And I actually saw this one before the original Texas Chainsaw. Obviously, I'd heard about it. Then went back and watched that, and I was like, you know what? In my mind, at least where I was in life, I love that Texas Chainsaw. Now I have seen the other remakes. Like, Netflix just did one, and the only thing I remember about that one is Leatherface attacks like a tour bus, and they're all filming with their phones. They're like, "You're gonna get canceled, bro." And then there's a pretty neat decapitation at the very end of that one. But that's all I remember from that. This one also went on to spawn Texas Chainsaw: The Beginning, which would be a prequel to this one. And that one received a lot of negative feedback, but I actually really like that one as well. Obviously not a true remake, but it follows these 2 brothers and their girlfriends who are they're driving because the brothers are going to they've been drafted to go to Vietnam, and one of the brothers decides to he's not going, and he burns his draft card and throws it out the window. Sheriff Hoyt comes, he doesn't like that, and it adds a little deepness to the story there, and of course, there's a really fucked up dinner scene. You have to if you're a Texas Chainsaw movie.
Can I interject real quick? That dinner
go for
scene
it.
is like classic horror cinema. It's like in the pantheon of horror scenes, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and like we talked about Thanksgiving, that movie, and how that dinner scene was very reminiscent of Texas Chainsaw, but actually pretty toned down.
You got a nice little happy Thanksgiving from me based on that scene, didn't you?
Oh yeah, you know it. Mm-hmm. Fuck you. Anyway, so my number 5 is Texas Chainsaw from 2004. To my knowledge, it was the first remake of it. I could be wrong on that, but it's the one that sticks out in my mind. And
so I think in the early 90s, there's a remake that Matthew McConaughey starred in.
Jeez.
So make sure you look that up. If I remember right, it's actually his first film. It's before Dazed and Confused.
Oh, dang. All right.
Cool. I drive a Lincoln because why not?
All right.
Or my personal favorite. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. Adding that clip.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Come on.
With a common denominator.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Number 4.
My number
Who's your
4. This is a great one, and I think you're going to like this too. This one came out in 2004, remake of a classic horror film, a classic zombie film. I'm talking, of course, Dawn of the Dead, Zack Snyder's edition. Damn it, this movie was good. There was a time, and we've already mentioned 2 of the movies from this time, really. But in the early 2000s, after, it was just, actually, I want to say it was just before, maybe it was around the time that Saw came into the pantheon. There was a resurgence of horror movies that were really leaning into the R rating. We don't see that a lot today. A lot of studios, I feel like they hit the PG-13 because they want to appeal to a wider audience, and that was especially prevalent during the 2010s. But there was a time in the early 2000s where the R rating was hard, and Dawn of the Dead was, man, did it lean into it. Man, did they do a good job. So Zack Snyder,
even from the opening scene, like that opening scene,
from
just
the grip,
it gets you. I mean, not gonna get into it because I'll let you get into it, but just how it's calm and then it's not.
It is. There's no build up in this one. It's literally night and then day, and it is, everything has gone to hell. I'm a huge. We've talked about this on the show before, and I'm sure at some point we'll do an episode on like the best zombie films. In fact, write that down because we definitely will. But Night of the Living Dead, which is my probably all-time favorite zombie film because it's the progenitor. It's what started zombie fiction as we know it, truly. There was Night of the Living Dead, and then there was the original sequel, Dawn of the Dead, back in 1978, which is also a fantastic movie, but since it's the original, it didn't go on this list. But this remake, it's not a shot for shot. It changes a ton. It changes 90% of the original film, but some of the main beats, i.e., the premise, zombie apocalypse, and the location, shopping mall. Those are pretty much the only 2 things that are kept. Yep, pretty much the only 2 things that are kept. Because, like you said, this movie starts with, it's a poor woman who's a nurse. She's finishing her shift. She goes home to have date night with her husband, and like I said, it's literally night because everything's completely fine the day before. The night before. They get home, they have a date night with each other, they go to sleep, and they wake up the next day, and the little girl from the next door is just standing in their bedroom doorway, staring at them. And then she takes 2 steps in, and her mouth, like right here, her lip is just torn off her face. It's just wide open. And of course, the lady's husband is like, oh my God, he jumps out of bed and goes and grabs her. She attacks him, bites him on the neck. And this is not a slow burn like, oh, they're bitten and they're going to die and then come back. This is like, you're bitten, you bleed out in, it's your carotid artery, right? You're going to bleed out in a minute and then you're back up. So this poor woman who's a nurse, she pulls her husband into the bathroom after she kicks the little girl out of the door, shuts the door, tries to attend to her husband and save his life. He dies and she's on the phone with 911 and then she looks over at her husband who's standing back up again. And then he just looks at her and charges. These are not the slow, shambling zombies. These are full sprint, full strength zombies that will take you out. So she escapes from the house. She winds up at a shopping mall. And when she gets outside, this is another beautiful cinematography scene from this film. As soon as she walks outside, the camera pans in the neighborhood. It's suburbia. It's, think of your basic suburbia with just miles of houses and little backyards.
White picket fences,
all of that stuff. The camera pans from one side of the street all the way around behind the actress's head, and you can just see everything has gone to hell. There's people eating, there's zombies chasing people in the streets, there's
people are getting run over by cars. Yeah.
Getting run over by cars, yep. So her husband chases her out of the house at this point. She jumps in her car. She ends up at a shopping mall with some other survivors. And the cool thing about this film is there's not really much filler. It's like, hey, we're being attacked. They get to the shopping mall. They run into some security guards who disarm them, but they allow them to stay. That's when they turn on the news and they realize, oh, this is happening all over the world, all over the planet. This is happening. No, and the scary thing is there's no why as to why the zombie apocalypse is happening. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no, is there any way to cure these people? Like one of the scariest things about zombies, right, is the people don't know, like, are they dead? Are they alive? Are they sick? Can we cure them? They're dead. They're dead. They're at the mall. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do next. They see a military helicopter kind of flying above the mall, and they try to get its attention. So they think they might be rescued at some point. But suffice to say, they kind of come to the conclusion, guys, we're not going to be rescued. If we want to get out of here, we got to get out of here. So as other survivors show up, they make a plan to leave the city, essentially, and they're going to take a boat out to some of the islands that are in the lake. They're like, those islands are really isolated. There's probably no infection there. There's not a lot of people there, so that's our best shot. So they rig up one of the mall buses,
it's like twisted metal shit.
It's so cool. It's really, really cool. They actually rig up two of them. There's a front one and the back one. But they're gonna break out. They're gonna break out of the mall, and they do. They drive down to the dock. Some of the, obviously there's a lot of death. A lot of the survivors die, right? Some of them do make it onto the boat and they leave. That's kind of the climax of the film. You do see them kind of drifting away off towards the islands. But the action in this film is great. The zombies are scary. The survivors you actually relate to because everyone's got a story. There's some brutal scenes, like Mekhi Phifer's wife, who's pregnant. She gets scratched by one of the zombies, and she's 8 months pregnant, and because she got scratched, she's going to turn. So he ties her up in a bed in a secluded part of the mall. And she dies of her scratch, and she comes back as a zombie. And as she's a zombie, her body is delivering this baby. It's a brutal, sad, heartbreaking scene because when one of the survivors finds out, wait, she's a zombie and she's dead, we have to kill her. Mekhi Phifer's like, no, he's freaking out. He's like, you're not gonna kill my wife. So there's human stories in it. There's, companionship, there's love, there's grief, there's loss, there's all of these things. If you haven't seen Dawn of the Dead...
There's a struggle of power because the other group that's in the mall already, or what are they, like security guards or something
Security guards with Magnum revolvers, which is nowhere in America.
Yeah, where's your segue? Where's Paul Blart? I think what works well with this movie is that... Right, yeah. And what works well with this is that everyone watching the movie has been in a mall. Presumably, everybody has been in a mall, and if the zombie apocalypse were to happen, a mall is probably a pretty good place. The only other place I would say is better is like Costco, but so watching it and like they're in a sporting goods store, and it's just like an abandoned mall is creepy in itself, but the fact that you are trying to hoard off the zombies outside. And my favorite scene in this movie is when because there's a guy across the street at another building that they kind of
at the gun store, Andy the gun store.
Mm-hmm. And they make a game out of it. They go after I don't know if they make it clear if it's the actual celebrity or just a lookalike, but they're like,
he says,
Jay Leno. Go for Jay Leno.
Rosie O'Donnell.
So that part's really funny, and obviously they're bloody headshots. But and then we've talked about this on a previous podcast. Is that you said they leave to go to the island, and then the mid-credit sequence, which I always love because it's with "Down with the Sickness," I think is the song that's playing, which is fantastic. Disturbed, hell yeah. And it intercuts because like it goes part to the credits, then it shows you a little found footage style when they get to the island.
And the island is not as clear as they were hoping.
Thought it was going to be, yeah. So,
and that's kind of the beautiful thing about it, right? Is the movie itself, the main movie, ends with okay, they got away, they're off to the island. But that mid-credit sequence, it doesn't show them die. Like it doesn't show, oh, they got there and they got killed. It's them. They get there and like you just see found footage style the damn zombies running from the shore towards them at the boat that they've docked. And then, it just kind of intersperses. It's like, get up, come on, get down with the sickness. And then it goes back to zombies rushing and being in the camera screen and then back to the credits. It's really great.
It's so goddamn good. Solid. And stay tuned because that might end up on my list. I don't know. But number 4 for me, and I know you're going to love this one. It's Evil Dead from,
Let's go,
2013. Baby! And I urge you guys to go back and listen to our podcast on the Evil Dead franchise.
Can I say one thing real quick, Ryan? Mm-hmm. My number 3 is also Evil Dead.
Okay, cool. Well, hey,
so we're going to tag team
we're going to double up this here. Evil Dead. We talk about it in depth. And didn't it win wasn't it number 1 on both our lists for the Evil Dead franchise?
Yeah.
So
it's the way a movie remake should be done.
Exactly, and it does enough different because obviously the first Evil Dead, it's there's some slapstick involved. It's it's very indie, it's very low budget. This is like they completely redid the whole thing. They're like, we're gonna do the same story, but we're actually gonna make it fucking scary and terrifying. And there's the story about how they're bringing their friend out to this cabin in the woods, which we've talked about it umpteen million times. Don't ever fucking do that. She is a recovering drug addict. So that plays into when she starts experiencing some of these things, they don't believe her because they think that she's just relapsing or having issues with that. There's some all-time gore in this one. And just the demonic presence, how it makes itself known, and when the Deadites are there, it's so damn good. And I remember seeing the trailer for it, and I thought the trailer was really badass. And again, you wonder like, why do people remake these movies? And it's like, well, you got to take a stab at it. There's plenty that miss the mark. This is not one of them.
And I am thoroughly impressed with this director's pedigree, by the way. Just a shout out to Fede Alvarez. He did Evil Dead. He then followed it up with Don't Breathe. He also did the most recent Alien movie, Alien Romulus, which I think is the best Alien film since Aliens that James Cameron did. I thought Romulus was so fantastic. But Fede Alvarez, his pedigree is fantastic. And he kind of burst on, I don't know if this was his first film, but he burst onto the scene really with it. This is the mainstream release. But every part of this was just, it showed respect to the original, right? There's plenty of fun little Easter eggs in there if you're a fan of the original, but it's never done in a slapstick or humorous way. I mean, there is, if this, on a scale of 1 to 10, or a scale of 0 to 100%, 99% of this film is straight horror. Maybe 1% is like a comic relief or a slapstick piece. Maybe 0.5% of it is. But it is, man, it is a thrill ride from beginning to end. Some of the scenes in this, I'll never look at a box knife the same way. Ever. I'll think every time I open a box cutter, I think of that scene. Mm-hmm. Every time, I have this is a fun fact. I have a certain phobia. If I have to get up in the middle of the night to pee, if I have to walk into the bathroom, I deliberately cannot look in the mirror. And I'm afraid that I'm going to see something in the mirror that's going to terrify me. So I look directly at the toilet and walk to the toilet because of, the scene with the little piece of glass and kind of what she does to her face. Hypodermic needles, box cutters, nail guns, electric turkey carvers. Man, is the gore and the intensity on this one just ratcheted up. The blood rain scene at the end, the Jeep on the arm, and the final... damn it, does this movie just do it all, and do it all so good.
And they don't shy away from the tree scene. Obviously, it's not as graphic as the
Original.
OG, but you know, and like you said, this director, I mean, that is a hell of a franchise to come into because it is a cult following. They have a
diehard fans that are like
specific standards that they want to see in these movies, and you know, and then Evil Dead Rise followed up on that, and we're getting Evil Dead Burn, but it all started with this, because I mean, 2013. I mean, that's what, at least 20 years after Army of Darkness.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's a really hard thing to do. And I commend anybody that tries to remake a classic, because it's definitely not easy. But this one, yeah, especially since they did a full tonal shift and they actually made it terrifying, because it is really scary.
Horrifying.
There's some really good jump scares. There's still the dumb thing like, hey, maybe we shouldn't read from the fucking, you know, Book of the Dead that is, you know, covered in human skin and barbed wire and shit. Maybe we shouldn't.
And can
read
I
from
say
that.
too, when you want to kick off the tone of the film, the opening scene of this movie. Good God. The opening scene, guys, it takes place in the basement. You don't know that you're in the basement of the house yet. You don't know that till later in the film, but it takes place in the basement. It's a poor young woman. She's probably late teens, maybe 19, 20. She's tied up to a post in the basement, and she's surrounded by what look like just a bunch of hillbillies, really. You think they're doing something to her, right? You think that she's been kidnapped and she's under attack or something. And she's looking at a man in front of her who she says, "Daddy, Daddy." So you get the impression it's her father. And he looks like a normal guy with a Bible, and he has glasses on, and he looks terrified. And she's like, "Why are you doing this?" And he just says, "Because you hurt a lot of people, baby." And you're like, "Oh, are they twisting this?" And then all of a sudden, he douses her with gasoline, and he strikes a match. And then the music cuts out, and she looks up at him, and she says, "I'll swallow your soul, Daddy." And then he pauses, and the demon comes out of her, and it's just like, "I'll swallow your soul." And then, oh God, it's so good. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. It's so good.
So damn good. So yeah, guys, go back and watch or listen to our Evil Dead episode. We go through all of them, but this one specifically, we spend a lot of time on because, as you can tell, we're both passionate about it. We both really loved it. And it's
I need to watch it again. Look at the goosebumps on my arm.
Oh,
Just
know,
thinking about that scene's got me for me.
So it's funny that you said that, you know, our my number 4 and your number 3 overlapped. My number 3 was actually Dawn of the Dead. So,
you guys, can I just say something real quick? You guys can understand, number one, why Ryan and I are friends, and number two, why we decided to start this podcast, because we're like, dialed.
Yeah, it's...
And we didn't talk about this before this, by the way.
No, we never do. We never do. And my list fluctuated quite a bit, so it was as high as number 2 in some points, and as low as 5. But it definitely was going to make the list from when we talked about this, for all the reasons that we discussed earlier. So I won't go too much more into that. But damn good movie. Check out all of these. But yeah, maybe even start with that one because it's such a good movie. But. Okay, you're number 2, and let's see. I don't want to guess and get it wrong because it's. Yeah. I know your number 2 or your number 1, what it's going to be, but I don't know which one it's going to be. So, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to take a stab. Is number 2 Pet Sematary?
No.
Damn it.
In fact, Pet Sematary would probably be another honorable mention for me because it really.
No.
Between that and Goosebumps, as we talked about in our inaugural episode, those kind of really kicked off my love of horror and all things. But in the pantheon of horror movies that I've seen, both Pet Sematary and the remake, obviously, are fantastic. The remake by itself is actually a great film. But I'm going a little bit deeper, and it is actually another movie that we have talked about. For number 2, we are going with The Fly with Jeff Goldblum. So we spoke about.
I thought your number 2 and your number 1 were going to be Pet Sematary and The Fly. So I got one of them right. Man. All right. Yep.
So The Fly again, and this one we talked about this one in an episode that I had to shower afterwards. Our grossest, basically the grossest horror films that we've ever seen. Part 1, because guarantee there's going to be a part 2. Keep an eye out, kids. More to come. But The Fly, man. I should preface this by saying there's not a body count in this film. There's only there's body count of 1. And it's the final scene of the movie. So this is not a kill fest, a gore fest. Well, it is kind of a gore fest because of the transformation that the main character goes through. But The Fly is horror in a different side because if you guys think of what scares you the most, like what is it about horror that actually gives you the heebie-jeebies that makes you scared? Is it the imagery? Is it the unknown? Is it people are dying? Like what is it that does it for you? This film it's horrifying in that you're watching this man go through this transformation that is the most hideous, disgusting, painful looking thing. To this day, his final form of the Brundlefly is still just gives me the heebie-jeebies. It is a terrifying, terrifying thing to see.
Yeah, and obviously I was going through lists of remakes looking at this, and I was like, oh, fuck, The Fly's going to be on it. And I know that for Chris for sure. And yeah, of course, I, went down a rabbit hole of just because you get started, you just can't stop. I was like, all right, let's see this fucked up scene on this and this. So, yeah, definitely check out The Fly.
Quick aside, by the way, a lot of people don't know that this is actually a remake, but the original movie, The Fly, is from the 1950s. Follows kind of it's not even in the same realm of disgust, but it follows a similar premise in that a doctor has somehow fused himself with a fly. And unfortunately for this doctor, his body has become two different things. So his head and his hand, he has the head of a fly and the hand of a fly, and he has completed suicide by sticking his head in a hydraulic press and turning it on. So it's crushed the fly head. And this movie with Vincent Price, it's the investigators and the police finding his body and working backwards, like, what has happened here? What goes on? And the final scene of the original is the investigators, I can't remember if they come to a conclusion of what happened to him, or maybe they do find out and they're just like, let's not tell anybody about this. Let's just say it was a tragic accident. This is too horrific to think about. And as they're walking outside, they hear something. They hear a tiny little, like a high-pitched squeal. Heel. And they look over at a flower, a plant, and there's a fly on the plant with the doctor's head attached to it, and it's screaming for help. Help, please, help, please. And, the body's already dead, right? So they pick up a rock and they just smash it. Because what are they going to do, right?
You have been evicted from the Big Brother house.
You have been evicted. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Awesome. Yeah, I know. And, I mean, obviously, we want you to listen to other episodes of our podcast, but make sure you're in the right frame of mind before you go to that extreme horror episode, because
definitely,
yeah, there's some fucked up shit we talk about in that. But
those movies really push the boundaries.
Or just skip to the Fly section if that's what you're into. It's literally the first one we talk about, I believe. So yeah,
because but what I'm talking about, that's the most mild of that episode. So.
Yeah, if you can tell where things might go on that one. Awesome. My number 2, this one also fluctuated, but it is the remake of The Last House on the Left. Yeah, this one, my top 2 might not be where you're thinking my head's going to go on this, but, so this is another one that I actually saw it before I saw the original. I knew it was a remake going in. I believe Wes Craven did the first one, and I'm a huge Wes Craven guy. So,
correct.
Obviously, it was Scream, and he's done some other horror stuff, but like he did The Hills Have Eyes. That would be another honorable mention for me, as The Hills Have Eyes.
We could do a whole episode on Wes Craven films.
Oh, dude, yeah, R.I.P. Love the guy, but so. In this one, if you're unfamiliar with the premise, it's basically these two friends. Believe they're in high school. They're I can't remember if they're on a vacation or something, but they're friends in this town. There's like a lake house. They decide that they're gonna go just hang out. One of the friends is kind of a bad influence.
Well, the girl's family went on vacation,
right?
Because her parents are at the house,
right? Yeah. So the protagonist, her and her best friend go. Her best friend is not a great influence. She's kind of the party girl, this and that. Whereas our protagonist is, she's a competitive swimmer and gets good grades, all that. She's kind of the perfect daughter. So there's that counterbalance there, and you see a lot of friendships. I'm the level-headed one. He's the druggie, but just kidding, Chris. But
I wear it beautifully.
Yeah, there you go. So basically, they end up meeting this guy, and they want to go back to his hotel room to pick up some weed and maybe some other drugs. Turns out that this kid, and he's a pretty innocent kid, but he is involved in this family that is they're not good people. They are
criminals.
They murder people, they steal, they are just bad people. And they end up coming to the hotel room, and they weren't supposed to be back yet. They were not supposed to be back. So they find, they see these two girls with their, I don't know if he's like a younger cousin or something, but he's definitely the lowest on the totem pole in this group. And he was like, oh shit, you weren't supposed to be back yet. So he did not plan this at all. So he is relatively innocent. Basically, they come to the conclusion that they cannot let these girls know who they are, type thing, and they take them out into the woods. And there's a very infamous scene in the original.
If I can cut in on this point, this scene in this film, in this remake, one of the most brutal essay scenes. I guess I hope I'm not jumping the gun here as you kind of get to
that's
it. But
exactly where I was headed. Yeah,
I'll never forget the disgust and just the shock and the anger. Call it righteous fury, because I don't know if I have a soft spot for people who are in that kind of situation, but I just nothing in this world makes me more furious and just more angry than that sort of thing. And this scene really made me just. It was one of the few times that I kind of do this. I don't want to see it.
Yeah. So I won't go into details here, but it's definitely one that sticks out for those reasons. Obviously, I kind of knew what I was getting into, even though I hadn't seen the original yet. I knew what the infamy around it was,
and it was so unnecessary for them to do.
So unnecessary. Yeah. It's just they're driving home the point of how bad these people are, but it leads into why I love this movie, because it is a revenge film. And so get into that, but they kill the protagonist's best friend after some not fun stuff is happening. They think that they have killed, or that they're killing the protagonist after they want to do a little bit more with her. She is able to escape, but she is shot, and she goes for the lake. She tries to swim away. Presumably she is killed. She can't make it. She's got wounds everywhere, this and that. A big storm's coming. So the murderers, the group of bad people, have to get out of there. And they stumble across this house. And this house turns out to be the parents of the protagonist. So it's this cat and mouse where neither of them know who each other is. They have a guest house. And there's a couple little hints that are dropped here and there. But they put on this great face. You talked about funny games last week and how, yeah, we'll let you guys in. You seem fine. And, the leader of the gang is just like, we're so thankful for your hospitality. Meanwhile, they have just SA'd and presumably killed their daughter. But again, they don't know. And the dad is a doctor, so he's able to kind of stitch them up and take care of them. But they get them set up in the guest house. The parents soon realize that, because the bad guys are in the guest house. The daughter makes it home. She is able to swim back to the lake house. So she comes in, and so they're getting the slug out of her. It is so, especially now looking at it as a parent, you're just,
she's 17, 18.
Yeah,
she's a kid.
If that, yeah. And she is so close to death, and the fact that she made it home, and obviously the parents want to know what happened. They, this and that. So she's able to. They put two and two together that these guys that are staying in the guest house are responsible. So they weapon up, and they want to get ready for a battle. And this is why I love the movie, because they do not hold back. They fuck these guys up. And the killers, they also realize, because there's a picture in the guest house of the parents and their daughter. So it's a really interesting kind of hey, we both now know who the other is, and there's no more keeping secrets. There's a garbage disposal that gets used, but the best kill in this movie. And
I know what you're going to say.
For me. Yep.
Yes, it is.
And the way that they show it, so the main bad guy, he's the last one left, and he's in a fight with the dad, this and that. I believe the dad knocks him out, and he wakes up and he's just kind of like, he's looking up. You don't really know where he is. And the dad starts talking. He's like, hey, I don't know if he severs his spinal cord or if he just gives him something that paralyzes him, but essentially this guy is paralyzed from the neck down. And he's like, and you can feel everything. And he does like this really badass speech about like, oh, you messed with the wrong family, this and that. Because turns out this...
Suffice to say, one thing to mention, this family, like you said, it's a daughter who's on the swim team, like she's going, it's a father who's a doctor. They're a very white-collar, clean-cut family. And then this happens, and yeah, the movie takes place. So these are not... That's kind of the great thing about this film, is it's not like bad people attacking good people. It's like, there's that part that kicks it all off, but it's people who are like, here's what we can become when you mess with our family.
Right. And it's an interesting dilemma, because you're like, if I was in that position, could I do this? I guarantee you I couldn't do this next part, because I just, I don't have the creativity for it. But
right.
They allude to earlier in the movie that their microwave is busted. And that they need like a wooden spoon or something to get it to go. Turns out this guy, he's paralyzed. His head is in the microwave. And the doctor makes sure that it works. He turns on the microwave, and it's just, I want you guys to go watch it for yourself, because his head basically like blows up and caves in on itself at the same time. It's the weirdest thing, but it's so satisfying, because you're like, these guys got their comeuppance. They got.
He deserved it. He deserved every bit of it.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I thought it was a fantastic remake. I thought it was, it's up there. It obviously leaves an impact positively and negatively. But I thought it was done as well as it could be, given the source material and what they were going after, because it really draws you in and gives you those emotions of just like you feel like they did this to your family. That's how they make you feel. And the main kid that got this whole thing started, unfortunately, I believe he ends up helping out the parents, because he does feel guilty. He is the only shred of morality within that group.
He didn't mean for any of it to happen. He wasn't trying to hurt her. His intention was never to like bring her back and hurt them at all. He was trying. Yes. He was almost trying to make friends.
Yeah,
because he's part of this horrific family that has not allowed him to be a person.
He's a very socially awkward dude. But yeah, so there's go and check it out. But make sure you're in the right frame of mind for that one as well.
It's brutal. It's a brutal watch.
There is the trigger warning for sure on that one. But neither here nor there. It was a great remake in my mind. But before we get to number one for you, any other honorable mentions that you have thought of while we're talking?
Yes, and I need to make this clear, because my favorite horror movie, we've really already talked about it, and that's why I didn't put it in the top slot, because Sinister is, when people say, what's your favorite horror film? Sinister's the first one that pops up. But that said, we did an entire episode on Sinister 2. Rest in peace, Deputy So-and-so.
Yeah, for real. Can we
James Ransone, God bless.
Man, he's just, and reading some of the stuff about him after he passed, and just some of the struggles that he dealt with growing up, and how he saved a woman from an SA situation, and it's just like he literally was the type of
Deputy
characters
So-and-so
that he portrayed.
Good guy. Clearly a good guy. Married, 2 young kids. Very, very sad. God bless. James Ransone. Rest in peace. But yeah, Sinister comes up. That's the first one off the top of my head. So when I was compiling this list, I said, we've done the episode on Sinister. I've talked at length about how much I love it. So when we put together this list of top 5, I'm actually not going to allow it to take the top spot. And I'm going to go with my all-time top, horror film if Sinister weren't to be considered. And that film is 1982's John Carpenter's The Thing. Man! Well, you know what? Excuse me. Sinister's not a remake, so I apologize.
No,
I apologize. I just got ahead of myself. But Best.
You can always talk. I don't care. I don't care if we're talking about Paw Patrol. You can bring up Sinister. I don't care.
Anytime. My favorite horror remake of all time, 1982, John Carpenter's The Thing. Damn it, is this good. Every piece of this movie works. Kurt Russell, a young Kurt Russell is our protagonist. A young Keith David, a younger Wilford Brimley, because he's been old our entire life. This film is... Everything works. The horror works. The scares work. The creature effects work. For 1982, like, this is before CGI. Everything was practical. All of it works. This movie is so damn good. It's so damn scary. The premise and the remake, it's actually a remake of the 50s film The Thing from Outer Space. And that's why it still qualifies as a remake. The premise is we have a scientific team in Antarctica. Kurt Russell plays the helicopter pilot, R.J. McCready. And they're at a base, they're doing research. The beginning of the movie starts with one of the dogs. They have obviously, huskies down there with them. You just see the a husky sprinting across wide open Antarctic tundra back towards the American base. And I say American because he's being chased by a helicopter that has Norwegian writing on the side. And they hear that, all of our our scientists at the American base, they hear the dog barking and they walk outside like, what the hell's wrong with the dog? It's broad daylight, it's not like night and scary time. It's broad daylight. Like, what the hell's going on? And the helicopter that's chasing it is shooting at the dog. They're like, what the hell is this? So the dog runs up, the helicopter lands, and accidentally blows up because someone jumps out and he's going to throw a grenade at the dog, but it slips out of his hand and lands in the helicopter and blows the helicopter up. And he says, he's Norwegian. He says, he could tell he's just like, screw it. And he's walking towards it, and they're like, hey, stop, what are you doing? And he's just speaking to him in Norwegian. They can't understand. And he shoots one of them in the leg. He doesn't kill him. He could have, but he shoots him in the leg, and then he just walks past him. And now they think, oh, he's trying to kill us all. So the captain, because he's still shooting at the dog, the captain puts one in his head and kills him. And they're like, what the hell happened? They look at him, they're like, oh, he's from the Norwegian base. They do an autopsy on him, and they do an autopsy on the people from the chopper, and they're like, we don't understand, like, what happened to him? What went wrong? And one of the doctors, there's two doctors, one of them was like, guys, I want to go up to the base and find out what's happening. Like, we're not getting any response from him on the radio. I want to go up there and check it out. Like, something happened and we need to know. So they fly up to the Norwegian base, and they get in there, and the whole thing's burned down. The whole base has been burned to the ground. They take some data with them, but they go inside. They find a corpse at the radio station. He has slit both his wrists, and the blood has just frozen solid, right? So it's like a frozen pools of blood up to his wrist. They find in one of the storage areas of the base, they find a burnt, what looks like a corpse, but it's got like 3 or 4 human faces, and it's just got like flesh that is like pulling apart. They can't tell what it is. They take it back with them so they can do a proper autopsy on it. And sure enough, like, the doctor's like, well, we have what appear to be a functioning normal set of organs, but they're in the wrong place. They're all together. Like, this doesn't make any sense. And as they're doing all this, the dog that came back, right, they put him back in the pen with the other dogs, and he's kind of acting funny. And all of a sudden, this dog just starts to mutate and transform. And the creature effects on this guy's CGI today is crap. Let's just say it. There was a sweet spot from from Terminator 2 and Jurassic Park up to about Avengers Endgame. CGI was fantastic. They could do no wrong. It looked great. It's kind of taken a backseat recently. I will say this about these 1982 practical effects. I think Stan Winston did them. Damn it, do they look good? Damn it, do they hold up today? You can go watch this today, and it looks like as real as it possibly could, right? There's no CGI, nothing like that. This dog transforms into this big creature. They hear, everyone hears that the other dog's starting to go crazy and freak out. It starts killing the other dogs. So if you don't like dogs dying, sorry. But they run in, they see what's going on. They start shooting it, but to no avail. It's not really doing anything. So they go grab a flamethrower, and they flame it and finally kill it. But the premise of this film...
Did they grab a shovel?
They do not grab a shovel.
No World War II days?
Sorry.
They didn't grab a shovel?
No World War II. Sorry, buddy. Hate to disappoint you.
It's okay.
But the scary premise of this film isn't just the fact that, there's an alien. They find out, they see something in the ice because of the data they brought back from the Norwegian base. So they fly up there to look, and sure enough, it's this giant, like, flying saucer that's been buried in the ice. And they're like, how long has that thing been down there? And the doctor's like, based on the ice drift and the continental push, I would say this has been there for 10 to 15,000 years. And what's scary, going back to what's scary about this film, it's not just this alien, it's that what it does is it mimics the people that it's killed, right? So it mimics, if it mimics the dog, and that's why it was a perfect copy of the dog. So you wouldn't even know. It kills one of the people, kind of, one of the doctors, right? It takes control of the doctor and it mimics him. And they start to understand, like, this thing is assimilating to each of us. One of the doctor runs a 1982 computer program that's like, if this is real and this were to reach the mainland, what could possibly happen? It's like, if this assimilated to a person on a continent, this would assimilate the entire planet in less than a year. Humanity would be wiped out. So he flips out and he starts destroying everything. He's like, because, he's having a psychotic episode, but he's right. He's like, I don't want anyone to get out of here. None of us can leave. Like, this thing. So they attack him, they capture him. They lock him in a shed. They're like, get a hold of yourself, Doc, because they don't fully understand what's going on yet. But again, the scary thing and the way this thing goes is it's not just like all of them against an alien and they're under attack. It's the fact that they can't trust each other because they don't know if, Ryan, you and I are sitting in a room. Are you the thing? Because you would be talking about, no, I'm not an alien. I'm not a thing. You're a thing. I'm not a thing. They eventually,
thing two.
Yeah, thing one, thing two. But there's no way to tell. They do eventually come up with a test on how to tell, but things are deteriorating so quickly and in such a cool fashion. This movie it's scary because of that. It's scary because of the creature effects. It is scary because of the alien. It's scary between how the isolationism that they're in Antarctica in a scientific base. So there's not humanity around. The isolationism's kind of playing against them. Just every piece of this movie works. It's so damn good. It's so scary. The action's great. The scares and the climax is fantastic because it's left up to the viewer to kind of decide, well, is he a thing? Is he, you know what I mean? Kurt Russell's performance is tops. This movie, yeah, easily my favorite horror film remake. It's so good. It's still one that I pop in the Blu-ray player at least once or twice a year. It's fantastic.
And you brought it up with the ending and how it is ambiguous, and you're just like, how terrifying would that be? You're stuck in the Arctic, and you don't know if your buddy is an alien or not.
There's no chance of getting out. No one's coming for you. Yeah, no one's coming for you.
You're fucked. Yeah. So, sorry, excuse me. No, that's and I don't know why I didn't think that you were going to pick that one, but maybe it's because I forgot that it was a remake. But yeah,
yes.
And they are remaking it again. So not sure the details on
they
that.
But they did a remake with Ewan McGregor's wife. What's her name? Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Joel Edgerton.
Padme.
I think it was like. No, Mary Elizabeth. Nice try.
Yeah.
She, it was. I think it was like 2008 or 2009. With Joel Edgerton was in it too. Maybe it was like 2013. It wasn't great. Like it's kind of because it doesn't really serve as a remake as much as it was a prequel. But it doesn't really make sense because some of them are American, and it's like, well, it was the Norwegian base was under attack. There wasn't another American team down there, so it doesn't really make sense. They kind of tried to force it. It's not horrible. But it doesn't even hold a candle to the original.
Well, I hate it when movies do that, when they try to make a legacy prequel or whatever, and they don't even follow like that. American versus Norwegian, that's an easy fucking thing. Just do it. So
it is.
Totally get that. My number one is it's one that is I believe it's probably the most recent that we've talked about on this list. But I believe it came out in 2020. It is. It's very hard to do this because a lot of movies have failed in the Universal Monster Universe. They have failed miserably. The one that did not is The Invisible Man. That one.
Interesting pick.
It was actually the last movie I saw in theaters before
COVID hit.
And so maybe that's why it left a lasting impact on me. But just because the premise is silly. The premise is so stupid. It's you know, a woman that's in an abusive relationship. Her partner unalives himself, and she's being attacked by this invisible force. And you know, is this guy actually invisible now? And I mean, I'm sure some of you have seen The Hollow Man. That's kind of the vibes I was getting from it, is that it's just this awful CGI, you know, invisible guy. But this one, it has a lot of heart to it. It really makes you care. Literally the first scene of the movie is, you can tell the main character, the protagonist, she is trying to escape an abusive relationship. Now at this point, you don't know if it's physically or, you know, verbally, mentally abusive, all one and the same. She needs to get out. She has the strength to get out. And the house that they live in, fuck me, is it beautiful. God. Like, it made me question, I'm like, how much abuse would I put up with just to live in that house? You know, neither here nor there, but she's able to escape, and she finds out that her partner has offed himself, and she gets everything. She gets his money, she gets his place, she gets everything. He left it to her. What a guy.
What a swell guy.
What a swell guy. And I believe the only contingent on it is that she can't do anything illegal or something like that. There's some weird contingency with it, but
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember what it is.
Yeah, you come to find out that there is this invisible force that is kind of ruining her life and controlling her, and she's convinced it's her ex. And they're like, how could it be? He killed himself, blah, blah, blah. There's this really good chase scene that's in her house, because she is actually living with it's this family. It's this dad and daughter. The daughter's trying to get into school, and so she's getting her life put back together with this family, and it's actually really sweet how it plays out. But she's being chased by this force, and she goes up to the attic, and she gets a paint can, and she puts it down the stairs, and then you see this, you know, outline of a head. So you're like, oh shit, there's an actual person there. So then you come to find out that her ex was working on some technology that was basically like a suit, like a mirrored suit. Like, it can project what you're seeing, so it actually comes out to be invisible. Again, a little silly, but the way they present it actually seems pretty realistic, and you're like, okay, that's interesting. But the most famous scene in this movie is she's trying to tell everybody, and of course they think that she's crazy because she's been on antidepressants and I think some antipsychotics, and they even threaten that she's going to lose out on all the money, which is exactly what her ex had planned. That's how controlling this guy is. He wanted to, he thought up this whole thing. At this point, you don't know if he's dead or alive, if somebody else messing with her. But, so she meets her sister at dinner, and she's trying to plead to her, like, no, I'm not crazy, I promise you. Like, no, he is here, and he's invisible. And you can imagine how ridiculous this sounds. It's in this middle of...
Because the woman's in grief, too, right? Like,
yeah. She's going through all the emotions. Like, you know, she did love this guy at one point, and unfortunately he took advantage of a lot of things, her mind, everything. So she's at dinner with her sister, and she's frantic. She's like, you got to believe me. You're the only one that would believe me, this and that. And her sister's kind of had it with this shtick at this point. She's just like, look, you need to figure it out. And so, you know, it's this heated conversation. And then the camera cuts away. It cuts back to the table, and you just see a knife floating in the middle of the air, just randomly. And both characters are just like, huh? And then it slits the sister's throat. And of course, our protagonist, she picks up the knife.
It's intense.
Yeah, and it caught me so off guard because you just see the knife floating, and it just happens so quick. And of course, now it looks like she is a psychotic killer because, you know, everyone in the restaurant swears that they saw her kill her sister. Again, this is another kind of revenge flick because obviously they frame it to be the Invisible Man part. You know, obviously there's a big chase sequence, this big, you know, whodunit type thing. She's able to prove that it was her ex's brother who actually was behind it, which isn't actually the case. Spoiler alert.
If you haven't seen it.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, you should turn this off, but if you don't know by now, but so she actually finds out that her ex is still alive, and how it was his brother that did the whole thing, and he's just a victim during all this. Oh man, so she decides she's going to go back and be with him. Turns out she got her hands on this technology too, and makes it look like he did actually off himself this time, when actually she did it by putting on the Invisi-suit. Again, this sounds ridiculous as I'm talking about it, but it is such a damn good movie, and it's a good revenge flick, and you really don't know how she's going to figure this out, because, hey, this guy killed me, or killed my sister. I can't see him, you can't see him. Are you sure? So it's just so many different things come to play on it, and every subsequent viewing of it, I just enjoy it more and more, and it slapped me over the head with how good it was, especially since it was supposed to kick off the Universal Monster universe, because you've had the Wolfman remakes that suck, the Mummy
with Tom Cruise that sucked.
Yeah, Tom Cruise, not Brendan Fraser, Tom Cruise. That Mummy sucks, which I guess we could have maybe put the Mummy on here. That may have fit, but you know what? Neither here nor there. That's more action, but I love the Mummy. But yeah, the Tom Cruise one was shit. They had all these plans to do this, and this is the only movie that sticks with that. And I don't know if it's because the others are so bad, but I think it stands alone on its own.
The failure of the Mummy, I think, was like, oh, this isn't really going to work.
Mm-hmm. And yeah,
because they couldn't remake Dracula, like the creature from the Black Lagoon. None of it worked out.
No, so. R.I.P. to that grand plan, but they definitely got a good one here with the Invisible Man. So
absolutely,
man, what a list there. I love doing that. That was fun.
Really good, really good.
Couple honorable mentions on my end that I won't go into in depth about, but just ones that I made my preliminary list. We'll see what you think of these, but House of Wax. I love that one. It's very
anytime
campy.
Paris Hilton gets killed is great,
dude. Yeah, but doesn't she get sliced in the Achilles in that too, or through the?
I can't remember. She sticks her head out of the car or she sticks her head up to see, and the freaking pipe just comes and just.
Yep. Outside of her, it's a really good movie. There's the kills in this one, like the guy is peeling off his own face, and it's always one that stands up there for me. Obviously, I said Pet Sematary already.
I also have an honorable mention, but I don't want to mention it because it's going to be my recommendation for today.
No, that's fine.
We'll leave it for that.
I actually had a different recommendation that I will I'll say now, but the one that I was going to recommend, and then you actually talking about The Thing made me add a different one on here, and I'll explain why. But I don't know if you saw me actually making notes. I was like, fuck.
I did. I was like, I'm triggering something in his mind here.
Yep. So another one was The Grudge.
Okay.
That one it sticks out to me.
I will also say The Ring as an honorable mention.
The Ring, yep. The Amityville Horror, I actually like the one with Ryan Reynolds. It's not for everybody, but I like that one. And then the suggestion that I was going to say is Piranha 3D, because that one is it's so stupid, it's so funny. But
are you going to say Sharknado next?
No, dude, have you seen Piranha 3D? It's actually pretty damn good. It's not like Sharknado, I promise. It's actually really funny, and the kills are top notch on it. It's really funny. It's really good. So, all right, I want to hear what yours is. What's your recommendation?
So my recommendation is also a remake that would have made an honorable mention, but I was saving it for this section.
Mm-hmm.
I want you guys to check out the remake of The Hitcher with Sean Bean.
Oh.
And my personal celebrity crush, Sophia Bush. This film, again, it doesn't start out with the idea. It is a remake. There was an original Hitcher from the 70s. Sean Bean, man, he does play a bad guy in some films. He plays a great good guy. Boromir, of course.
First of all,
Ned Stark.
He's Lord Eddard Stark.
Lord Eddard Stark. Very good. Mm-hmm. He'll always be Alec Trevelyan. James Bond's nemesis to me, but yeah, Sean Bean, man, he can do it all. You see him play bad guys, you've seen him play good guys. Man, does he play a great psychopath. So this film, a guy and a girl, college age guy and girl, semester's over, they're driving home in his sweet Camaro SS.
Can I pop in here? Because the opening credits, what sticks out to me is I believe it's All American Rejects, Move Along.
Move Along.
What time is it? It's time to go. Come on, hurry up, you're late.
Sorry I'm late.
It's okay.
Good morning.
Morning. Nice PJs.
Going.
It's an All American Rejects song for sure, and they're just it's hey, it's all happy road trip, this and that.
Yeah, it's very happy, bright, beautiful Sophia Bush in the passenger seat, just having fun with her boyfriend. He's driving, admiring her. Clearly, they're in love. And then, as they're driving home, dusk, evening time rolls in. It starts to rain, and they pass a hitchhiker on the side of the road. And they decide, you know what? We're not going to stop and pick him up. It's dark. It's it's probably not safe. So they just speed on. They stop at a gas station. And that same hitchhiker ends up walking in behind him, and he's just, boyfriend kind of apologizes. He's like, hey man, I hope you understand. I didn't pick you up. I got my girlfriend here. He plays the nice thing. He's got a wedding ring on. Normal. He's wearing like a nice overcoat and a jacket. He's completely fine. He's like, I understand, man. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I wouldn't have picked me up either. It's completely fine. And then as they're getting ready to leave, he says, hey guys, I hate to ask, where are you heading this way? And they're like, yeah, we're going that way. He's like, is there any chance I can just hitch a ride with you this far? And this time they're like, yeah, absolutely, hop in. And to say that this goes from bad to worse to as bad as it can get is an understatement. Not 20 minutes into this trip, he starts saying some wild stuff, and he's rubbing his wedding ring, and the boyfriend is like, how long have you been married to your wife? And he's like, oh, I'm not married. I just wear this because it makes me look more trustworthy. And from that line, everything goes wrong. They end up getting him out of the car, but if you want to talk about a vendetta from someone who wants to chase two people down and terrorize them, this is the film. By the way, I've never seen a horror film use the song Closer by Nine Inch Nails to this good of an effect. This dude gets hold of a convertible and a gun. He decimates an entire police department. An entire police department. And he does it with this look on his face. Completely stone-faced.
He was in MI6. He knows what he's doing.
That's exactly right. But the song Closer by Nine Inch Nails plays, the beat starts to swell, and you see him just driving up the road, and he just pulls up beside the police car, just pulls a gun, fires it in. I mean, this thing is terrifying. I'm not going to give away the end, because it doesn't end the way you guys think it's going to end. Check it out. The Hitcher with Scene Bean.
Yes. Scene Bean, yeah, he definitely has some range. The joke is, like, how's Sean Bean going to die this time? And I know everybody was shocked. I never read the books for Game of Thrones, and, so of course, like, my wife had seen it before, and I got through the first, 3 episodes. She's like, so who do you like? I'm like, I think
Ned is the hero. He's the protagonist.
He's going to become the king. And then even, spoiler alert for Game of Thrones, but even in the episode where he gets got, the sword's coming down, and I'm like, no, he's going to escape.
Something's going to happen.
Like someone like an arrow's going to hit the executioner or whatever. But that one. I even remember the original Hitcher. I saw that probably way too young, and I just remember, I never want to be stuck between two semis, and I'm not talking about in a car.
No, thanks.
That is an awesome one. I did see that pop up too on my list, and all I could remember was the All American Rejects song from that movie. But that's a really good one.
Strong, moving along.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna quiz you here. So mine is a recommendation that obviously I just came up with. when you were talking about The Thing. So it's another movie. I think it kind of came out around the same time as Scream, but it's a Dimension film. It revolves around some high school kids, and they're trying to figure out who an imposter might be. And there's a very The Faculty. Yep. You were talking about that, and I had this on my list for a while of being like, one time I'm going to recommend that, and this time I felt like it was a good time. It has Josh Hartnett in it. It's typical high school horror movie type thing. The interesting part on this one is that the townspeople, the adults in the town specifically, start becoming kind of alien-like. Weird. Yeah. So there's a football game where, because basically an alien is taking over this town one by one. They are infiltrating people. I forget how it happens, if they bite them or if they just like stab them and then they're an alien. But yeah. So there is a scene in this one where they do have, I believe it's some drug that because Josh Hartnett plays a drug dealer, and they find out that this drug can actually find out who the alien is. So they all decide to snort it. And that reminded me of The Thing. So not giving too much away there. They are remaking this one, ironically. Really? I believe it was greenlit. But it is, obviously it's not the best movie you'll ever see in the world, but it is, I remember watching the trailer. I think I even saw the trailer for it on the Scream VHS, but it was like, no more teachers, dirty looks. And it's, like the principal takes the microphone and he's just like, please come down to the principal's office.
I remember that too.
Yeah. So
you just probably kicked a memory up,
dude. Yeah, it's a core memory. So check that one out. Check out The Hitcher. Check out The Thing. Check out House of Wax. Check out all the ones that we talked about tonight, whether they're honorable mentions or not. Let us know what you guys think at roastedsnowhorror@gmail.com or on all of our socials. I still need to pop into the war zone that is the Shelby Oaks and Dream Eater, because we've been talking about this for like a month now. It's still fucking going.
Still going, man.
It's insane. So
it's the everlasting comment thread.
Yeah, behave in there, guys. We're watching. But join us on Friday. We are covering Daisy Ridley in the new movie We Bury the Dead. It is a zombie movie with a little bit of a twist. So hope to see you guys there. Chris, buddy, it's been awesome.
Always a pleasure, my guy.
Yep. And then next Wednesday, actually, we're going to be doing an indie spotlight where we're hoping to have the producer of a couple indie films join us. The films are Bitter Souls, 100 Acres of Hell, and The Beast Comes at Midnight. So check us out next Wednesday for some behind the scenes kind of talk and see kind of what goes on to get these movies made, even those that aren't wide theatrical releases. So you can see these movies on Tubi and Prime, and check them out before Wednesday. We'll bring it up on Friday as well. But Chris, buddy, if you don't have anything, we will see you guys on Friday.
Wakanda forever.
Thanks for listening to the Roasted Snow Horror Show. Please follow us on our social media pages and tell your friends, pretty please!